Okay, welcome back to the Level Up and Live podcast, where we sit down with Montgomery County's boldest business owners who are building more than just companies. They're building lives that matter. Today we have two incredible guests, Jason and Abbey Gentry, franchise owners of F45 here locally in Montgomery County and parents of two amazing kids, plus a golden doodle. Not only do they thrive in business, but they're also athletes competing in DEKA and HYROX events, embodying what it means to level up and live in both fitness and entrepreneurship. We're diving into their journey and how they balance family, business, and fitness, and what it truly means to become the best version of yourself. Jason and Abbey, welcome to the show.
Hey, Sean, awesome. Thanks for having us.
Yeah, Sean, thanks for having us.
Absolutely.
Excited.
For sure. Jason, so we broke this down right before the episode, and I always love doing this with new guests, and something we just started implementing in is give us a 1 to 2 minute introduction of your name, what you do, and why you do it.
Yeah, for sure. Like I said, Sean, thanks for having us. My name is Jason Gentry. Like Sean said, we opened up F45 here in Montgomery. So I help run that. It's not my everyday job. They call me, I'm one of the setup people. I do a lot of the demos there at F45, do the demos. And I also do a lot of the setup afterwards at night, some of the behind the scenes stuff. And then I'm in there just, getting after it, as one of the members. So we open that up and, I do that as part-time. And then I have my everyday job that I do construction sales, that I've enjoyed. And it's kept, that role is kind of helped me. It's a lot of work from home and out and about. So it's kind of helped me be able to still be on the gym and in the gym floor and stuff like that. Other than that, man, when I'm finished and not working out, I'm at the house playing with the kids.
Another workout in itself.
Yeah, for sure.
Exactly. And why do you do what you do, Jason?
Man, like I said, I love talking to people and stuff like that. So as far as my everyday job with the outside sales roles, it's just communication with people and not necessarily selling them a certain thing, but just communicating with them. And then as far as the F45, that's been a dream of ours to open up something like that. And there's a lot of people from the community that we never thought we would. We thought we knew everyone in Montgomery, and we did not know a lot of new faces come to the gym that you think that it's a small town, but man, new faces and the people you meet in the community. So that kind of drives us to keep trying to be better at F45 and stuff like that, just because of the great people that we've met, and we want to keep a higher standard and stuff like that for it.
Awesome. Welcome to the show, Jason.
Appreciate it.
Abby, go ahead, hit us up. 1 to 2 minutes.
Yeah, of course. My name's Abbey Gentry. I'm actually from Montgomery, so Montgomery is home for me. Jason and I met in college as college athletes, and I drug him back to Montgomery. I started out teaching in Montgomery, which was awesome. My mom was a teacher growing up, so it was just kind of what I was going to go into. The coaching aspect is what I loved. So from coaching junior high athletics, high school golf a little bit here and there, just kind of fostered that love for coaching a little bit more. And then from that, we dove in head first, opened up the F45. I stopped teaching, came home, had some babies. So now I'm stay-at-home mom and studio manager / owner. And then I coach some of the classes on the floor too. So why I do what I do is kind of like Jason said, communication and community. Being able to meet people and foster, a love for coaching and moving their body and working out, getting people to do something that they walk in and thought they couldn't ever do, just kind of puts a light on your face when you see them finally do it. So it's cool to be able to have that in the community and be the one that brought it there and keep it going and keep it driving.
Welcome to the show, Abby.
Yeah.
Thanks for sharing.
Thanks for having us.
So 2 weeks ago, for our listener, just full context, we had just met 2 weeks ago.
Yep.
Both of y'all, I showed up. I was one of those new faces that showed up to y'all's gym at F45 in Montgomery. And as soon as I showed up, I was like, man, the atmosphere was electric. I love the vibes, all these new faces, bunch of athletes looking fit. Here I am just rolling up, asking, where do I need to sign in? Where do I need to sign up? And I spoke to a lovely lady. I think her name was Layla.
Yeah.
Lila?
Yeah, Leah.
Yeah. Leah. Yeah. And she was super personable, big smile on her face. And she told us where to sign up. And this was my first DEKA Strong. And I was just super grateful that, there was a gym local that hosted these, because that's something I wanted to try. Well, lo and behold, my first one, apparently I did pretty good is what y'all told
You
me.
did fantastic.
Going through it.
Yeah. Killed it.
So after I finished, everybody kept coming up to me and they're like, "Hey, by the way, that's the owner in there. He's going to go hardcore." I'm like, "All right, cool." I'm watching behind the scenes and Jason's going through there. And then we got an opportunity to talk after that you had finished. And it just struck me immediately. Both of you had come over and the hospitality was just so warm, so inviting. And I really appreciate that because that means a lot to me. And that's one of my values as well, is making, the community and new people feel warm and welcomed. And you guys made me feel that way. And when I was talking to Jason and Abby, man, you guys immediately, when I was just listening, asking you questions, I was like, these guys are winners, and I love surrounding myself with winners. Yeah. And I had asked you a little bit about your personal backgrounds and your history. I was like, and then 2 days later, I was like, you got to come on the podcast.
Yeah. So
I appreciate you guys being here today. And I just want to dive, on deep in your stories. And for our listeners and audience, a lot of people, this is relatable. This is, there's other high achievers and business owners that are all going through the same thing, which is life, trials and tribulations and struggles and wins. And so we're going to talk about all that today. But first and foremost, I want to peel back the layers. My first question is, and whoever wants to go dive deep on this, Abby or Jason, but what inspired you to become a franchise owner of F45, and how did you get started in the fitness industry?
So, growing up, I played golf and softball in Montgomery. So there was just a foster of that, I guess, competition spirit, right? For me, I always got told golf wasn't really athletics growing up, that you don't need to be athletic to play it. You don't need to be strong, things like that. Obviously that has changed, right? Since I grew up playing golf. Now you see these golfers, they are heavy lifting, they're running, they're working out, the endurance they need, right, to play at collegiate level, or even towards that professional level. And then Jason playing college basketball and growing up, household of 6 boys, right? That competitive spirit we know is there. Yeah. We know is there, 6 boys. So I think just the college athlete aspect, that we met in college at Dallas Baptist. So we just fostered that love. It kind of put a connection to us from the beginning. And then for us, it was getting out of college. We got married real young, 21 and 22, right out of college. So we had lots of time on our hands, right? We had just started jobs, lived in an apartment, in spring. In spring. Yeah. And every morning we would blast music in the Jeep and we would head over to LA Fitness. Yeah. And get a workout in early. At that point in our life, we could spend, 2.5 hours there just hanging out. And then as life got a little bit busier, you realize you can't just stand around in the gym for that long and wait and chat during the reps and talk through what we're about to do next or chill in the sauna. And so we found an F45, something that was going to kick our butt a little bit more. We went to F45 Creekside. And that's exactly what happened. We got our butt kicked real good. Being college athletes, I think it kind of brought that training level back out of us again, to feel a little bit more into that specific type of training. And I tell you what, I think I left that class and looked at Jason and I was like, one day we're going to open one of those. It needs to be sooner rather than later. I want to take it back to Montgomery. Like, we want it back in my hometown. They need something like this. Like, come on, like, what are we going to line up? How are we going to do it? I don't even know our timeline after that. A couple of years?
Yeah, that was a couple of years because then we moved to Magnolia, and we went back and forth from that gym. We were over at Gold's for a little bit in Magnolia, and then switched back to, it was on and off with F45 and Gold's, because we would go to Gold's and do our own thing and then kind of get bored again. And it's like, oh man, okay, I need to start shredding again and stuff like that. So we'd go to F45 and I would see the results and do like that. And then, we'd get lazy again and then, let's cancel. So then we go that. And then we, it's like, okay, this is it. We're going to dive into it. And so then we started being, regular members over there in Magnolia. And then it was, hey, we need to bring it to Montgomery. And that's when we moved in. Sold our house in Magnolia. Kind of going in deep into it. So we actually, we had our house in Magnolia. The real estate market was starting to get kind of crazy. We sold our house in Magnolia and made pretty good money off of it.
What year was this, Jason?
This was in 2021. We've been 2021. we sold our house, and everything we made from that, we were like, okay, we are going to put it to opening up this. And we're at the time we would have had Cohen.
Yeah, we had Cohen.
Yeah,
Cohen was not even a year.
Not even a year. So we were like, okay, you know what? We're going to go ahead and sell. We're going to sell our house. We sold it, and we moved in with her parents upstairs. So we're like, we're going to move in with your parents and sell. So we sold all that, everything we made from the gym or from the house. We're gonna open up the gym. We're going to do it. And so I remember we moved in with her parents, and we were sitting in the back patio at her parents' house. And Abby can kind of touch a little bit on it, but I remember she was asking her parents, she's like, okay, hey, we got what we need to raise up, but we need y'all to go in with us. And her parents didn't come from really, her mom had done F45 with us a little bit, but you know, they'll even tell you they didn't have to open a gym, be part owners of a gym on their radar at all. And Abby's sitting there in the back patio. She's starting to cry about actual tears coming down. And she's like, hey,
it's just like goals and prayerful tears and things that you want so bad. And you're very close. You just need a push or someone to be like, yes, you can do this. Or even if it's a little bit of that monetary value, whatever it was. Right. So and my mom and dad, my dad looked at me first and was like, yeah, we're in.
Because
I was like, what? Okay, cool.
Putting her heart out. And so I think her dad could see that, obviously knowing her daughter was like, all right, well, this is something they really want. So they were on board, took a little bit of hair pulling and stuff like that, but they got on board. And then we got after it. We started.
And what year did y'all start your business?
So 2022 is when we opened.
Open doors.
February.
We bought the franchise the summer of 21.
21, yep.
We were actually on a trip to Mexico when my parents sent over the franchise agreement, and we signed the DocuSign while we were in Mexico on a vacation right after having Cohen. And
it was our first trip away after having a baby. And so we're like, all right, we're gonna vacation a little bit, and then it was that month when they were on board, and so we already had this trip planned and all that. So we were docu-signing some stuff while we were in Mexico, and we got back and hit the ground running.
I think doors opened February of 22.
Yep, February 22. So.
Oh man, what a beautiful story! Everything you just shared is like the American dream, like you said, Abby, and it obviously has come to fruition. And then having your family involved as well, and having their support, I know that means a lot to you guys.
Yeah.
Is this y'all's first business?
Yeah.
Yes.
Yep.
Okay. And just for our audience and listeners and viewers, what is F45? So I know we've talked a little bit about fitness. Is there something behind the F45?
Yes.
Is there a story behind that?
Of course, yeah. So F45 started in Australia, and then it was brought over to the United States franchise-wise. So it's globally based, which is awesome. The F stands for functional, so functional fitness, and the 45 is 45-minute classes. So team training, life-changing, 45 minutes of functional movements. We split between strength, so strength resistance, hybrid, and cardio-based classes, phasing classes in and out. We have 13 phases in a year. So 4 weeks to a phase, your body never really quite gets used to what you're doing. And as soon as it does, it phases out, and you get a whole new other phase in there, and a new training block. And just the F45 athletics programming has done a great job of keeping it new and fresh. And we're grateful to be a part of the franchise and to have the one in Montgomery.
Awesome. So transitioning into, you guys are so busy, right? With the community, you got F45, you got 2 beautiful kids, you got a golden doodle, which I love. We have 2 yellow labs, so they need to meet.
Playful.
Very playful, very playful. And I know, Jason, we haven't even tapped into your full-time job and being able to support the business. We'll get to that here in a second. But I'm curious, and just for selfish reasons, and I know our listeners are going to want to know this, how do you juggle the demands of running a business with raising 2 of your kids, golden doodle, and also pursuing your athletic goals? Because I know you are involved in DEKA, HYROX, and all these different things. So how are you juggling all the demands? How are y'all doing?
Yeah, for sure. No, it's definitely not easy. One of the topic conversations that we've had the last couple months, I looked at Abby the other day and I told her, I said, man, I shout out to parents who are both fit because they have kids and that are both fit. Because man, for both people to do that on their schedule because it takes time and commitment. But man, yeah, when both people, and so it's definitely a lot of give and take because for both people to do it, you have to do your schedule because some people, you can just get it done before the day starts. So you have to get up and get it done with kids, but before they wake up. But that's only one of the two. So let's say Abby gets it done in the morning, then the kids are waking up. So I have the kids in the morning, try to get ready for school or something like that. And then I have to try to fit it in sometime at night. But lately we've been good about doing we call it the 5-6 switch at our classes. And so she'll do the 5 a.m. and she'll race home real quick. And I'm getting there right as class starts at 6 a.m. Just doing a little swap. Yeah. But yeah, no, it's definitely not for the faint. But it's worth it. And we have a lot of headaches at night. When we finally have to look at each other and say, hey, let's turn off F45 because we haven't even had any conversation of anything else today besides kids. They're finally asleep. And so they run the whole conversation. And then finally we get in bed and we're just sitting there talking about F45 and Abby will look at me like, hey, I don't want to talk about F45. So you have to have some breaks. You have to have some breaks.
Or HYROX or DEKA or let's talk normal life for a second.
Yeah.
What do you want to talk about, Abby? What do you want to talk about?
Right? Yeah. Something.
Yeah, we're sitting there talking about times like, hey, this person ran a so-and-so time at HYROX. Man, I think if I break the down like this, I can get this and this. And she's just, but she'll do the same thing to me. She's like, okay, I think I can run this. And I'll look at her and like, I don't want to talk about HYROX.
Yeah. But, I think it's cool though. It's a lot of, like you said, give and take. And then I think we're living in a world too where like health is becoming insanely important and vital, and people are starting to recognize that a little bit more. Not that people didn't put a priority on it before, but I think people are just starting to understand how important it is for your body to have muscle on it, right? Or for you to be able to move as we get older. And the cool part is when you do have young kids, and we've tried really hard, it's frustrating. And you're not always going to get the best workout in either, but man, let them see you do it. Right. And I know with us for F45, we don't necessarily have childcare there. So we talk about how it's, 45 minutes in and out, right? Which is what's very nice about it. Because you're getting a really good sweat, a really good training block in, and then you can get home to the kids really quickly. So we can do that 5-6 switch, but half the time that's not Jason's only workout, right? He's going to go run, he's going to go do a garage workout. Like we've got a mini F45 in our garage, right? And so for us, it's that time of like trying not to get frustrated with the kids when they want to be a part of it and just letting them see us move like that, right? Like we just bought Cohen a tiny little treadmill and he just like, it's like really? Where you make it go, right? And so like we'll be running on the treadmill or like doing wall balls outside or something, trying to make sure Paxton's not running into the road, right? That's the key, is keeping Paxton where he needs to be, our 2-year-old. But Cohen half the time is like, watch how fast I can go, Daddy. And he's just like trying to sprint on the treadmill too. So I think the give and take of that is when you are training for something else, right? Not just necessarily, I get a really good 45-minute workout in during the day. I moved my body, I'm good. But when you're training for that DEKA event or that HYROX event, and you're going to train just a little bit extra, right? Because we all know the times we want. For us, being involved in that and the age we're at, it's letting the kids be a part of it. The stroller runs, the double treadmill runs, you take it while I go around the block and we switch. Now, that doesn't mean we do it perfect every time. Like the amount of workouts that don't get finished in that, right? Or the stroller run becomes a walk and let's please hurry and get home because we're hot. Happens all the time. But if you can try to keep that forefront of, you're just letting your kids see what you do.
And having that support, I feel like obviously supporting each other.
Yeah. It makes it a little better.
Well said. It does. And it helps. It's that accountability. It's that support, having each other's back. And then like you said earlier, with the kids, it's caught, not taught.
Yeah.
And so I think that's the same. I think that's so powerful in what you guys are doing in running F45 and then also going to church, plugging yourself into the community and then, working out, fitness, not making excuses and being intentional about it.
Yeah.
And that's what I'm hearing you say. And I think that's inspiring to me, because like you said, people are kind of sensing, I need to get moving. I need to get active. Mm-hmm. I need to be more fit and more healthier so I can show up for my kids and grandkids. And so it's one thing saying it, it's one thing teaching it and preaching it, but it's another thing doing it, actually doing it. And you guys are an embodiment of that. And I just love that. And that's what we're all about, Level Up and Live. So beautiful. So this transitions perfectly into this next question, which is what I love, because I look at fitness the same I do is in business as well, because they go hand in hand.
Yeah.
And especially for business owners and high achievers like you guys, can you share how your fitness journey of building F45 has really shaped your approach to running your business in F45?
I'll start and just touch on a little bit and then let Abby finish, because she's the main one actually running F45. I started it when we were first opening. I did a lot of it, some of the calling and stuff like that. But Abby's really taken over and managed it all. But as far as the actual personal fitness journey with that, and it coinciding with the business, we've seen a lot of people, and I'm myself included, that they were kind of athletes or stuff like that you didn't really think they needed some of the fitness kind of aspects. So I was one of those that I thought, college athlete, I didn't really need. I mean, I was there, kind of whatever there is, but and then looking back on some of the pictures after putting in the work, the hard work and stuff like that, kind of looking at the pictures like, oh man, I have lost some weight, or I've gained, or some of the times and stuff like that.
Transition.
So you see putting in some of the work, and then being out in front of the other people that some of our members, and seeing them lead by example and stuff like that. So them seeing you see the results and stuff like that. So I would say that kind of goes into business as far as leading from example. We are very involved. There's some F45 studios or gym studios that it's the owners, they're not really there. They own multiple or stuff like that. Our big thing is Abby's from the community. We have a lot of friends in the community that we try to be there. I mean, we get a workout in probably 6 out of 7 times a week. So we try to be there. And I think that might not be for everyone's business, but we are very involved, maybe too involved. But yeah, we try to actually have those relationships with the people. So it makes it hard when someone has to cancel or just because they're moving or stuff like that. It's like, oh man, we're truly going to miss you. It's like I said, business wise, it probably hurts us because it's everyone's family there. So that kind of hurts us, but it helps us in the long run, because we truly, everyone, when they step in the gym, they tell us, it's one of the first things they tell us after they join. It's like, man, it truly feels like a family. So I would just say the way we run business, I don't know if it's right, but yeah, we care, and we just want it to be a place that we actually enjoy being there every day. Yeah.
I love that. And I can sense that from you as well, Jason. I think that's well said, because when you make it a community, and when you make it not about you, but it's about the other people that are showing up, and that to me is fulfillment. That to me is community. And you can sense that. And I know our listeners and audience can feel that as well. Because a lot of times it's easy when you start up a business or you do these things, it's for selfish reasons. Yeah. It's for money. It's for, the why is for me. And a lot of times that leads to misery, unfulfillment, and frustration. And that's what's happened to me in my journey up until about 3 years ago. And so I went through this transformational journey, and now it's about serving and impacting others. And that's what I keep hearing you guys repeat. It's about others. It's about my kids. And that's that North Star. That's that fulfillment for you guys. I'm in Abby, you can answer this as well, but I'm curious, man, you guys are such high level competitors, and just some of the times that you've put up are phenomenal and awesome, DEKA and HYROX and some of the competitions. Is there ever a moment where, Jason, Abby, where you're going through these movements, whether it's signing up for a DEKA and you're just embracing the suck, you're in the pain cave, you're on the assault bike, just getting it, your lungs are screaming, or maybe you're running, Abby, your first HYROX event, your heart's pumping, but you're going to cross that finish line, you're going to set out and hit your goal, or at least try to hit your goal, and how that aligns with running a business. Yeah. Isn't that so similar in thinking like, this has to be a marathon. This has to be an endurance. Like the times are going to get tough, but it's the tough that get going when those times get tough. Yeah. Can you guys relate to that? Y'all resonate with that?
100%. Like when we were leading up to Houston HYROX, first of all, like we bring some competitors with us from F45 Westlake Conroe. I think we had 37 athletes from our gym do Houston HYROX. And that was not like, a few of them, it was their first, but The first one we had done was a year ago, Houston, and then we took like 28. But Jason and I were the only ones that did doubles at that point, and so everyone else did relays. And then after that, it was like, nope, we're going for it. And so to watch the gym kind of unfold and be competitive too has been really cool to see that. But I also think, like you're saying, like embracing the suck. So I've only ever done doubles. I had done doubles with Jason. I did doubles with my sister-in-law. And Jason was like, rip the Band-Aid. Just go do it. And I was like, but I'm a people person. Like, I'm a partner person. Like, I don't really, like, I can do it. I don't really need to see if I can do it. I'm cool. And just the entire time in the training block, like, you're working really hard. And I already know it's about to suck because I've done it as a doubles and it's hard, right? So I already know that I'm about to have to embrace this, like, insane mentality of I'm going to be out there and no one's coming to my rescue. Like, as soon as I get in that start bubble, which for me, my heart rate already hits like 135 in the start bubble. I'm like hanging out in the start bubble, and I know that it's not going to be finished until I throw that 100th ball and I cross. And I'll be honest, in Houston, and Jason can attest to this for sure. The amount of times I looked at him and almost just, you know what, we've got 37 athletes competing. Like, let me just hang. Like, this is a lot. I'm so busy all week. Like, I just really didn't get to taper like I wanted to, or, and just that fear, like you're talking about, settles in. And I don't know if, you're scared to prove it to other people. Right. And I've talked a lot about that too. Just being a gym owner, you feel like you kind of have to be the fittest and the strongest and the best time and all the things because it's yours. And one thing I've learned from that and just the business side is, no, there are people at F45 that are stronger than me and that are faster than me. And that's okay. And that's part of that community of just raising each other up and letting everyone compete, whether you're doing HYROX or you're just in that group setting class for 45 minutes, and then to resonate that with business is the same thing. Like, there could be a day where maybe I have like 4 or 5 members that I'm about to close and I don't think it's going to do well, right? I don't think I'm going to get them. I could easily just be like, oh, I'll let a coach handle it. I'm not going to walk in there. Like, if we don't get them, we don't get them, right? Or you can turn around and be like, no, like, let's go. Come on. Like, let's go get them. Let's get in there. They want to know what F45 is about. We want them to join our community. So yeah, fear settles in easy and it grasps your mindset. And we all know mind is half the battle. I mean, I played golf growing up and that's a mind game, if not anything else. So, learning how to deal with that daily for sure.
I couldn't agree with you more. Fear, man, stops a lot of people in their tracks, and just limiting beliefs, the stories that we're telling ourselves. And what I have found that helps overcome that is by surrounding yourself, like you said, in a community, in a tribe, and especially with individuals like yourself that have that support. It's kind of like Jason said, those stories that you were telling yourself, Abby, are those beliefs. You're like, no, you know what? And then Jason's like, pull the Band-Aid off, go do it. Yeah. That empowerment, that challengement, man, what a great husband in that moment, because it's easy for saying, you know what, Abby, you're right. Yeah. You are busy. Yeah. Why don't you go ahead and take a step back? No, yeah, exactly. He pounded. And Jason, props to you, brother, for holding her accountable.
She would be mad at herself and kicking herself if, I told her, you just got to see your time on a solo. After that, you don't have to ever do it again. She's like, no, I don't really need to see my time. I could care less. But then she would have been kicking herself and been mad that she didn't do it. Because now she, if someone asks, hey, should I do a solo? And, now she can at least tell them yes or no, but she can at least speak to it. So it's one of those kind of leading from the front. But like I said, you don't have to be the fastest because there's always gonna be, bigger, better people. But it's just being able to experience this, be able to speak to it.
Yeah. And aside from, HYROX, like, just because we've also tried really hard to not get so caught up in the competitions, right? And to also remember that we have members that walk in our door that, again, they just want a good community. They want a good 45 minutes, keep them out of the competitions. Like, we'll clap for me from the back. We're so proud of you. And so, for that too, it's the hardest part is walking in the door, right? And everybody says that. I know that sounds insanely cliche, like it really does, even saying it, but it's true. When there's something new and you've only ever gone to like a smaller local lifting gym and you've never tried out a class-based class or anything like that, like, grab a friend and walk through the door and just say you tried something else. And half the time people that end up doing that, they're like, oh, F45 is what I've been missing. The community, the team training, I get the personalized fitness, but I'm in a group setting, right? And I think that just goes with HYROX, DEKA, regular workout, having your business, just Band-Aids, pull it off and walk through the doors.
We'll see a lot of the wins. Like I said, the main thing, it's easiest to see HYROX times, hey, you got this, and then the next one you got fast and all that. But a lot of the wins are not, it's the ones that we like to see the most. Man, we've seen people tell us that have been going to the gym for 6 months or a year, hey, I can now get back on my horse because now I'm more mobile, or hey, I can now take my kids, like just different functional
unload
everyday stuff.
Into the,
my so-and-so's not hurting, or just different stuff like that. And that stuff's like, okay, that's the stuff that's hard to measure, but it's, man, those are the wins for sure.
See, you guys are awesome. You welcome, audience and listeners, viewers.
Yeah, well,
you guys are just literally coming alive right now.
All of that sounds good coming across the microphone, right? It is not to say that there's not your fair share of, I don't want to train, or
sure.
I just went on vacation and oh my goodness, it took me, which this is true. We just got back from Costa Rica, I guess a month ago now. Yeah. And I kid you not, it took me the first week after vacation to even want to move my body, like to just get back to normal. And then that second week of like, okay, get up and go, get up and go, get up and go.
They're hard.
It's just, but it's also just finding that habitual training, right? And that consistency, and people knowing you don't have to go full force all the time, right? It's consistency looks different.
I want to go back a second. You know, you guys are speaking my language, and people that are listening to this and they may be crushing it in one area of life. And I want to tap into faith here shortly and how that plays a role in y'all's life. But for people that are struggling with being active, busy entrepreneurs and high achievers, I'm all focused on business. And to me, how you do one thing is how you do everything. So it's just an alignment issue or a priority issue. But if somebody was listening to this, what would be one tip or one piece of advice that you would have that, oh my gosh, I want to sign up for my first 5K, or I want to sign up for that DEKA strong event, but I don't know if I'm going to be able to cross the finish line. I don't know what people are going to think of me. They may criticize me or judge me, or can I even finish? Or that HYROX event, doing that by myself, there's no way. What would one piece of advice or tip that you give that person listening to the podcast today?
Yeah, I'm going to say, I'm going to steal it because I've heard it and it's gotten me to sign up. I'm not a runner. Abby likes the idea of running. But we are starting, next week. We're going to find out which one. I don't know what we're going to do, but we are already told each other we're going to do a full marathon.
Let's go.
And now it's verbally out there in the world, which means I have to do it because Jason just spoke it into existence.
And that's kind of going to what I was going to say, because I heard this on another podcast that I'm recently listening about how to start for a marathon. But you have to sign up and do it. You just have to sign up because after that, it's always going to be down the road. I'm eventually going to sign up, or I'm eventually going to do this. So you have to actually verbalize it and then put it in writing, and you actually have to do that. Otherwise, you're never going to be ready, or whatever, like you're saying, whatever ready is, you just have to do the first one.
Well, I mean, it goes back to the traditional business, like SMART goals, right? Where it's specific, it's in a timely manner, it's measurable, it's attainable, right? Like if you've never ran a half marathon or a marathon, you probably shouldn't, if you haven't ran a half marathon, you probably shouldn't just sign up for a marathon, right? So your training blocks, right? Like what are you leading up to? If you've never done a HYROX, or you're just getting into like that hybrid athlete, okay, you probably shouldn't go rock a solo by yourself. Find a friend, find a double, get in there, get comfortable. You're uncomfortable, but get a little bit more comfortable, and then just start pushing those boundaries from there. So I think I did with a friend, the Woodlands 10 mile, the 10 for Texas. And that was the longest I had ran. And I did that one first, and I didn't train as hard as I should have, right? But I'm like, I work out, this will be fine.
Now you got a base.
But at least now I have a base, and I have a base of what 10 miles looks like. And just recently signed up for a Fort Worth half marathon with 2 of my girlfriends. So we're going to go do that in June, right? And then we'll pick a marathon that's in a timely manner to be able to train for it. But yeah, exactly what he said. Set it, find someone that's going to do it with you, and try to track it out. Does that mean you're going to hit the days perfectly? No, it's not. Could you get into race day not being prepped? Yes, you 100% can. But I think the people that actually sign up for competitions and do it are so small that you're already winning by being there.
You got to get it on your book, on your calendar. That's everything. Going to church, you have it booked in your calendar. Going to putting a race on the book, you have to put it on your books. Otherwise, it's going to keep getting pushed back and back. So just,
That's absolutely brilliant advice. And that's my advice that I give to everybody as well. You'll never do it unless you actually go and swipe the card, sign up for the event, and work backwards. You know, well, the question, I don't know when to sign up for the event. Okay, well, even if you signed up 30 days, the point is you're going to find out when you show up, you know? So that's the whole point, is to go sign up for the event and work backwards. And I think that's just brilliant. Great advice, guys. I appreciate y'all sharing that with us. I wanted to tap in a little bit too, because with your business and y'all are going to resonate. This is so relatable to our listeners and audience and viewers. The power of consistency and resilience of just showing up, being on the podcast today, showing up for your members, showing up for your kids constantly, day after day. Success leaves clues, and it's boring, right? Because it's that routine. And I've got a question just for analogy purposes. And I'm not sure if y'all are familiar with karate or jiu-jitsu, but I have a friend. He's actually in our mastermind group. His name's Cody Snyder. Shout out. And he is a coach at jiu-jitsu. And one of the things that me and him talk about is, what do you think, and I'm curious with you guys, what do you think the hardest belt to get is when you become, get into jiu-jitsu and karate and all that? What do you think the hardest belt to get?
Yeah, I mean, I'm just going to go out and obviously, I don't know too much about karate. I know I've heard of some of the belts, but I don't know. I would imagine probably the first one, just because you got to get in there and get in class.
Bingo. So the first one. Okay. So the first one's the hardest one. They say 99. They say 100% of the time, like it's not the black belt, the brown belt, the yellow belt. It's the white belt, because he says people don't show up. Yeah. They'll come the first session. They'll come for a month. They'll come for 3 months, and they don't continue to show up.
Yeah.
So that's the same thing with this business. And I'm sure y'all have experienced that at F45. Yep. What is something, do you guys have a system or a process to instill in your members when they sign up? Because I'm sure y'all experience that and they face those challenges of not showing up. Hey, I haven't seen you in, a month. I haven't seen you in 2 months. Yeah. Do you have any tips or tricks or strategies for keeping those members plugged in so they continue to show up?
Yeah. So I think a lot of it is how you get them when they come in the door, like making sure that you, we talk about it, it's almost like a prescription, right? Like, okay, I'm going to prescribe you. I'm hearing this from you. These are your goals. This is what it sounds like. Let me prescribe you 3 times a week. Or, oh, you think you can do unlimited? Cool. We're going to come 5 times a week. Let's see what that looks like in your schedule. And just kind of helping them navigate their schedule to the classes that we're catering. Whether it's, a little bit heavier on the strength side or heavier on the cardio, or even saying like, okay, today's going to be a rest day for you, but on that rest day, I still want you to go and walk. And so just trying to make it, like we said, as personal as we can in that group setting. And so getting them at the door that way. We do an in-body scan, which love it or hate it, right? It still tracks and it's measured. And then with memberships, they get quarterly in-body scans with us. And so it's checking back in at 3 months. And it's funny that you said that, because it takes for habits to create, right? Like it's going to take that amount of time. Like our challenges, F45 challenges, we run 4 of them a year. They're 45 days long. And people want to immediately get on the scan and be like, oh, I did really good this week. Okay, well, a week isn't going to show us the consistency in what you need. You might even be more mad, right? Like when you change your training a little bit, sometimes we even gain weight because our body's like, whoa, what are you doing to me? And it's learning to fluctuate. And so for the most part, it's keeping people off the scales until about 3 months, trying to check in with what they said they initially were going to do, whether it's a Monday, Tuesday, Thursday type of routine with us, checking in on nutrition, things like that. And our coaches do a fantastic job of hey, I haven't seen so-and-so in a while, and either sending them a postcard or touching base with a text message of, hey, we miss you, like, let's reevaluate those goals. But it just kind of goes back to that communication piece and the intentionality of it, and making sure that you're calling them out in the right way.
Wow. Well said. You can tell you've done this once or twice.
Once or twice, yeah. A few times.
But I think it's so relatable to not just in health and fitness, but any business right? We're wanting to grow this business to 100 members, 200 members, 500 members, 1,000 members. We want to retain them too. And a lot of business owners listening to this, they're in growth mode, but they're losing customers on the back end.
Yeah.
And I think, what you just dove deep on is brilliant. And what I'm hearing you say is being intentional, communication, personalizing to fit them. All this is value proposition. And that's huge, man. You guys are obviously seeing success there in the few years of doing it.
Retention has been our biggest tool. We struggle a little bit more with the growth side of it. Just in the gym, we are growing. But retention, I think so many business owners forget about retention. You can't forget about the people that, for us, started it with us 3 years ago, right? Like, we are elated to add more people to the family and the community. And we have people that just join that feel like they've been here the entirety of it, right? But yeah, you can't forget about retention and the people who have stuck with you.
Yeah, we definitely pride ourselves on the retention. I feel like a lot of our foundation members, they're still here from day one, unless they've moved or stuff like that. But yeah, they do a great job of it's the follow-ups. And just it's actually truly caring about. Her mom is the first one to text Abby's like, "Hey, I haven't seen so-and-so in the gym. Are they okay?"
Oh, really?
And
that's awesome.
I was like, they're fine. They've let me know that they were, they're
on vacation.
They're on vacation.
Okay.
They're struggling with this injury. They've let me know, and they're rehabbing for the next 2 weeks or 3 weeks. They'll be back. Yeah. It's like, okay, all right, well, good. But no, retention is huge. Definitely following up and taking care of your people.
Awesome, man. Well, I know that's nothing but valuable, and that's huge. And it's one of those things. I think it's easy. It's maybe overlooked. It's undervalued, but you're 100% right. It's rolling the sleeves up, being intentional, and just having team members like your mom to simply say, "Hey, I noticed that." Just being super aware of our members, and I think that's just beautiful. One last question, man. We are already at 40 minutes. Y'all didn't even tell me. Yeah. My gosh, y'all naturals.
We'll just have to come back.
Yeah.
But I wanted to touch on this. We don't have to dive deep on it, but communication, again, it's so interesting how these questions have kind of lined up with where we went with the podcast, but communication in marriage and business. So this is a big one. Me and my wife, we have businesses, and I know a lot of business owners and entrepreneurs listening to this. That's one thing that they struggle with and they're continuing to work on and stare it down and level up in is that communication between marriage and business. So on a scale of 1 to 10, how important would you say communication is to have it in marriage and in business? And then what are you guys doing on a weekly basis to make sure you're intentional about being on the same page with business and in marriage to separate it?
Yeah. I mean, importance of communication is like 12 out of 10. You can't even, it blows it out of the water, right? For us, we are always people who have put our faith first. Doesn't mean that we were always showing up in church every Sunday. We are busy people, like you said. And so for us, it's trying to make that a priority again and making sure that, we are in the seats on Sunday and our kids are in class on Sunday, and that we aren't just talking about it, but we are showing it and living and breathing it. And I think for us, honestly, a couple of times when we would argue, right, or just see disagreements in business, some of it probably led to the fact that we weren't really listening together in church, or that we weren't really slowing down to hear what the other one said, because maybe I thought my way was right no matter what, and I'm really not going to listen to you. Jason loves to play devil's advocate all the time. I don't know why it needs to happen all the time. But there are times where it's true. I didn't stop and actually think about what it is that he's saying. And vice versa. And I think getting back in church and in front of people, like you said, like you surround yourself with who you want to be with. So the people at the gym who are making themselves better, the people in church, and that community aspect of being in there and listening, even if it's just us two, listening to the sermon together and then being able to talk about it and then watching, later in that week, the sermon implementing through a conversation we're having about how we're going to handle something going on at F45 has really resonated for sure with me the last couple of months, honestly, since January, since we've made it a point to get back into seats in church.
Yeah. Like we've talked about, and intentional is a big thing with all of it, because sometimes it's being intentional of slowing down, so a lot of times, like we talked about early on in the podcast, it was, we talk about, and I'd bring up F45 or she would bring up F45 at night. And a lot of times it's putting, the business or something on in kind of in the back seat for just, so that way you can clear up everything and just communicate and slow down. I feel like is a huge thing that we always have to keep reminding ourselves. And I feel like we've done a little bit better job this year in 2025 of slowing down, not necessarily on, the competitions and stuff. We kind of ramped that up, but on some of the other stuff, we've slowed down where during the week we're not going out to eat during the week, or just stuff that adds up, with kids that we're not running our body rampant, and we're able to kind of have that quiet time at night and communicate and stuff like that. And hey, what's the week going to look like?
And
our Sundays are like that. We're kind of getting the week prepped so that way, we're not stressed starting day one on Monday.
And it's hard because we're yes people. So like if friends text or anything like that, we're like, yeah, grab the kids, let's go. Most of our friends are in the same stage of life as us.
That's been good.
It's,
most of our kids have kids, or most of our friends have kids now. So they're a little
really?
Or otherwise knowing us, we'd probably be like, all right, yep, we're there.
Yeah. But yeah, learning to kind of be homebodies a little bit more and really slow it down. And you can really see the kids do much better too when we're at a slower pace of life than we are saying yes and going and doing. And, they think going to the gym is a field trip now when we get to go up there without a class and turn the lights off and just work out. But
keeping work and a little bit separated. It's very hard to actually separate that because we're passionate about, F45.
Yes.
So we enjoy going together. That's part of our marriage. We enjoy going to go work out together. But for the most part, as far as the business, trying to keep that separate from.
Man, that's great. And you guys are imperfect action takers. And what I'm also hearing you say is you're trying to be intentional about it. And I love how both of you have said you got to go slow. And I love that saying, go slow to go fast. Yeah. And so you slow things down, especially if that's your personality, you're strong and you guys are moving 1,000,000 miles an hour. And sometimes you look back and you're like, holy smokes, man, I'm how old now? And my kids are how old? It's like, where did life flies by? And especially when you're on the go. And so when you have those moments and it's systematized on a weekly basis where you slow down, have the communication, and for me and my wife, every single week, every Sunday before church, we have a 60-minute sit down. We ask each other questions. And that's all we need. Yeah. That's all we need is that slow down. What's your week look like? How can I support you? How can, fill your love tank? Where's your love tank at? We ask yourself these questions. Because before, and I'm 38, when I was in my 34, 35, holy smokes, guys. I was like, I was all over the place, and I'm sure y'all can resonate and be relatable with kids and business and church and everything. But at the end of the day, y'all know because you're fitness, you're competitors, it's not sustainable. Yeah. You have to have that endurance. You got to slow down, find your cadence, find your pace. And then that aligns, in my opinion, with all these other areas of life and business, faith, church. And like you said, I think, Abby, you said this, surrounding yourself and plugging yourself in with other like-minded individuals. Yeah. Who's challenging you? Who's empowering you? And I'm talking to the listeners today. I'm talking to, our viewers and man, I constantly have people in my life, hey, empower me, hold me accountable. Yep. Tell me when I'm wrong. I don't need yes men in my life. And I think that's what I have found is people around us that aren't showing up. They're not being challenged. And that's what you guys have shown today is y'all are challenging each other. You're empowering each other. And you're doing that for your community. Yep. And I think that's why you're seeing a lot of success. Are you perfect? Absolutely not. But it's who you're becoming in this journey of leveling up together because we're best equipped to help the people we once were. And so you'll always find those challenges and obstacles, but it's that leadership lid. The more you raise your baseline, the more you're able to impact and serve more people. Sure. And that's what I have found in my experience of Level Up and Live.
That hits it for sure. Yep.
Yeah. Well, guys, you have been awesome. You have definitely, truly have shown us what it has mean to level up and live in faith. You didn't get a chance to talk about faith, so we'll probably have to have on for another episode.
Let's do it.
Ran out of time. You know what I mean? Guys are naturals. Business, talk about business and fitness while also striving for excellence in every area of life. Yeah. And your story today has not only been an inspiration to me, but I know it's been an inspiration to all of our viewers, listeners, and audience. So I appreciate you guys saying yes to today's episode.
Yeah, sure. Thanks, Sean. No, it was a blast. Yeah. First podcast. Awesome. We appreciate it being with you. That was great.
For sure. So last and final question, how can our community, how can Level Up and Live, how can we support Jason and Abbey Gentry and F45? How can we guys support you?
Yeah, I think we'll throw our Instagram link out. So just engaging and community. And if you see that we're hosting some DEKA events, come hang out. If you live in Montgomery area, we're right there, 105 next to Pizza Shack. So swing by, say hey. I think the biggest thing I tell people is even if you're not ready to start a class, just come in and talk, come in and see it. But just, engagement and Instagram, social media, shout outs, things like that.
Yeah, we got a trial week. So yeah, come work out for a week, man, and check it out. See if F45 is for you. And if it's not, it's not. But yeah, come.
Best way to communicate with y'all is through Instagram. Is that what I heard you say?
Yeah, I think that's good.
Instagram or studio phone numbers on the website. So I can put that link in there too.
Perfect. We'll have that in the show notes for anybody who wants to go and support and follow Jason and Abby on their journey of building F45 and giving back to their community. So Jason and Abby, thanks again for sharing your journey today. And to our listeners, viewers, and audience, if you're inspired by today's episode, be sure to share it, subscribe, keep leveling up. Until next time, keep pushing forward your 10.0 version of yourself. Thanks again, guys.